championship day on the campus of Northwestern University. Nice weather. Conditions are a little windy. Penn State has ripped off 13 straight wins. Meanwhile, the Fighting Illini unbeaten in their last 10. Today they play for a Big Ten tournament title, and a veteran coach on the sidelines of the University of Illinois in her 10th season, Janet Rayfield. She's taking advantage of her versatile team here and trying to take the championship, and we look at her starting 11 this afternoon, Kendra.
Well, I like the center back, the senior Jenna Carosio, Big Ten Defender of the Year for 2011. Also, the Big Ten first team. Keep an eye on her. She's going to hold down the fort in the back. Keep
an eye on Marissa Mikan. She had the game-winning goal in the last match on Friday to advance to the championship game, and she's joined by the third member of our broadcast team, Danielle Slayton.
So Marissa, you scored a huge overtime goal on Friday against Michigan State. Walk me through that overtime and what happened on the goal.
I mean, I think we wanted to get the momentum early, because in any overtime, obviously you want to end those as quickly as possible. No team wants to go into PKs. That's just a 50-50 toss-up, really. And so, I mean, we were moving the ball well. We kept possession for a good while and was making Michigan shift around. And so I got the ball, I think, from our outside mid, and then just turned and kind of started dribbling, I guess, towards the goal, and until I found kind of a little bit of a seam, and then I just took my shot.
And you're 90 minutes away from a Big Ten conference tournament title. How are you going to beat Penn State today?
I mean, just the way we've been playing lately, just being dynamic, lots of movement off the ball and stuff, just playing our game short, short, long kind of stuff, just making their back line move, and we'll find spaces and stuff, and then finishing in the final third.
Great. Thanks for your time and good luck today.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Danielle. And there we see a coach who wears a few hats. Assistant coach with the U.S. women's national team, and of course, Penn State, Erica Walsh in her 5th season. She's won over 70% of her games during her tenure, and we look at her impressive starting 11.
Well, and I want to focus on the center midfielder, the attacking mid, Christie Nair, number 10. We talk a lot about Schramm and Hayes, but they're able to do what they do because of Christie Nair, and she was also named to the Big Ten first team this season, a 3rd straight year for that award.
Jess Rosenbluth, 10 assists, tied for 2nd on the team for the Nittany Lions. She's with Danielle.
So Jess, you scored a big goal for your team on Friday night, but what I'm so impressed with is that you guys have so many different players scoring. Talk to me about the culture and the attitude that you guys have that's really enabling so many people to step up big right now.
Yeah, it's a gift that we have this season, is having so many different players step up and be able to score from different positions, and it's not just relying on 1 or 2 players like a lot of teams have, just dangerous players that you need to mark up on, and we have an entire attacking 6 and subs coming off the bench that are really helping us, so it really helps keep it very dynamic and hard to defend, and it's really been working for us.
And what's going to be the keys for you today against Illinois?
Just keeping the ball. They like to play very similar to us and possess the ball as well, so we think that the more that we can keep the ball, the better we'll be.
There is a confident group, the Fighting Illini, ready to play the upset role and trying to take down the Penn State Nittany Lions. And one reason they're a pretty confident group, the goalkeeper out of British Columbia, Steph Panozzo, the junior. She has been a force. She's played a lot of minutes, and we saw her heroics on Friday.
Well, Michigan State was just on fire early on, and there's Steph Panozzo making one diving save, coming off her line, being aggressive as Michigan State just continued to pound that net. She made save after save and really kept that team in the game and forced overtime where her team was able to go on and win.
So they look for some big stops from Panozzo to the Fighting Illini. At the other end, it's another Canadian keeper, Erin McNulty, the pride of Winnipeg, Manitoba, and the senior, and she doesn't have to do a lot of work, but when called upon, she has to make the big save in front of this big team, and the senior leadership of McNulty has been good for Erica Walsh's side.
Well, and she's a grad student, so she has a lot of experience and a lot of leadership. She doesn't have to make a lot of saves, but she sure does a lot vocally back there for this Penn State team.
Directing the Nittany Lions, and Kendra, what are your keys to the match this afternoon?
Well, both teams have such offensive firepower, so Illinois is really going to have to contain Hayes and Schramm. That's a difficult task, as we saw Minnesota try to do on Friday, and Penn State. Keep an eye on Marissa Mikan. She has scored a phenomenal goal on Friday night to get her team into the finals here today.
Look at the referee this afternoon from Lakeside Field, Northwestern University, on this championship Sunday to go for a tournament title, Rich Grady. will keep things fair. Kendra, weather, always a factor. It's pretty nice here in November in Big Ten country, but the wind is blowing a little bit, up to 34 miles per hour gusts.
Well, and we have a major right to left wind going on here. It is pretty much direct down the length of the field, so it's definitely going to affect the team as far as having the wind at your back and going against the wind. It may play a major factor in this game.
Penn State wearing white. Maya Hayes, their big goal scorer, and a handball. They play on as Penn State controlling. Lexi Martin. Spouse will go back for the throw-in.
Well, look how fast that ball rolled out of bounds, as of course Penn State's got the wind at their back. They play any ball forward. They're gonna have to be careful because it could run out the end line quite often, and the Illinois going the other direction, really gonna have to concentrate on keeping that ball on the ground and driving it low to work some magic up front.
Whitney Church, reversing fields. Jackie Melinda, a force at the right back position, but it's Pulowski taking it away for Illinois. Lexi Martin once again. Ends up being a goal kick. And these two teams met earlier in the year, and it was a 1-0 victory for the Nittany Lions in a game that really didn't seem to have a lot of offense. It was kind of gummed up in the midfield, as now Illinois attacking. De Bernardo denied. Christie Nair.
And look at that ball just sail. I mean, she's trying to serve it in behind Maya Hayes there over the top, and it's going to get right to Pinozo, and that's something Pinozo is also going to have to be careful about. We don't want to harp on the wind issue because it is what it is, but early on I think it's going to take the two teams just a little bit of time to settle down out there.
First foul of this game. The kick will go Penn State's way.
Nairn wanted a quick restart there. She was thinking, she had her idea there. She was going to send it out wide to Hurd, but the referee needed it backed up about 10 yards. This could be a shot on net from this spot right here because of that wind at her back.
Emma Thompson right foots it into the box, but it's headed away by Carosio. Carosio protecting the 18.
Okay. And Danielle, you were down there for the coin toss. What did you hear from the teams as far as when Penn State won the toss or they got the wind at their back? Was that a major factor? Was that something that they were definitely hoping for?
That was absolutely something that they were going for. I think they want to go after this game, get a good start in these first 45 minutes. They won the coin toss, they took the win, and they're going to use it to their advantage.
Look at that dangerous play there out of the back. Maybe a little bit of a miscommunication between Martin and McNulty as she came off her line to actually clear that ball.
The junior Nikki Reed was hunting for it for Illinois. There's Nikki Reed. Mikens can't get around the wall of Lexi Martin. But the corner kick coming, the first one of the match. Vanessa De Bernardo behind the ball. Low service, chipped into the box. Penn State, with 2 touches, takes care of trouble. Set pieces make the wind conditions this afternoon will make those even more dangerous. Good possession here. Nikki Reed. Wanted De Bernardo. It's Jackie Guerra.
Love that hustle by Guerra in the middle to keep possession.
Guerra will keep that possession alive. Nikki Reed churns it down the left flank. And it's Jackie Melinda cleaning things up beautifully.
But something unusual for Penn State there. They did a great job, Melinda, winning the ball in the back, as we see the ball get hung up in the air here, but then they turned it over. Penn State rarely does that out of the back. They're very possession-oriented with their marking backs.
Good possession the last couple minutes from Illinois. Nikki Reed, here's Marissa Mikens. She had the game-winning goal in overtime, did Mikens, 24 for the Fighting Illini. Stephanie House was very noticeable from the right back position on the Final Four Friday. And Illinois is coming out here playing some soccer. Pulowski and company, Mikens. Flag stays down, Marissa Mikens fouled outside of the box.
And what a great combination play by Illinois. It started in the back, they switched fields, they took their time, they were patient, and then it was almost as if Vanessa De Bernardo was kind of a dummy on that play. All the attention was attracted to her as she was checking to the ball. Look at, she attracted the attention of Martin, and Mikens able to just slip in there and draw the foul. Well done by Illinois. Love the possession early on, keeping that ball on the ground, and there's Mikens, so dangerous.
The dummy from De Bernardo opening some lanes for Marissa Mikens. Melinda gets the yellow card.
Almost pretty much a last man, just about a last man foul kind of situation there. She was the last marking back.
De Bernardo into the box. Schramm trying to move it out. It's Jackie Guerra in the Fighting Illini. De Bernardo, she's not shy from distance. Mikens. Going end line, cuts it in, the drive, Illinois leads 1-0.
Illinois on the board, listen to that crowd as the goal is scored. Penn State, not something that they see often, but also they scored against the wind and they scored first. And Illinois was just on fire there with the possession, working the ball up on that goal.
Julie Ewing gets the gigantic goal, her 5th of the season. Makes no mistake, the beautiful setup from Marissa Mikens.
And Mikens just attracts so much attention as she takes it to end line, beats a couple players, slices it in there, and it's Julie Ewing with that composure to place that ball in the lower right-hand corner of the net. Well done by Illinois and against the wind.
How much does that change the game now? The underdog jumping out in the lead here, Kendra.
Well, I guarantee you Penn State isn't worried. You know, they know that they have enough offensive firepower, but it's definitely a position that they are not used to being in. And we say underdog, but they are the #2 seed. Illinois has a very strong team coming into this game.
And it's a position that Penn State is not in very often, trailing this season. You look at the numbers through the first 22 matches, this is uncharted territory.
They've trailed for just 208 minutes out of almost 2,000, so not something that they're very used to.
Erica Walsh, not accustomed to this position, but she says this group, her Nittany Lion team, is different from any other side she's coached. They don't get complacent, and they especially won't now. Emily Hurd, Guerra extending, and Guerra didn't see daylight, so she'll track it back. And now a little more possession from the Nittany Lions after allowing that goal. Lexi Martin, along with Thompson in the middle. Quite a force to be reckoned with. There's Jackie Melinda, who received the yellow card moments ago. Showing the athletic skill there, Vanessa De Bernardo. Recapturing for the Fighting Illini, now directing traffic. Flicks it out wide. Shayla Mutz Dispossessed there by Chapek, and a collision right at midfield. Penn State marching on. As Schramm drawing the foul.
This could be another dangerous dead ball here as we see Paus maybe just, there's that step in there by Chapek. She plays the ball forward and just a little bit of a late tackle, miscommunication on the defensive play, but it could be another dangerous dead ball. With the wind at their back, they could float to this back post.
Emma Thompson behind it again, curls it into the box, and it's pushed high and wide. As a few Nittany Lions were going to go, but there was Taylor Schramm.
And Danielle, you're down there on the sideline. What was the reaction from the two benches as far as Illinois putting that first one in the back of the net?
I think the entire bench from Illinois lost their minds. They are so excited. This is exactly the start that they wanted. They want to keep building on this momentum. But let me tell you, this Illinois bench is pumped up and continues to be even now.
Well, and as we take another look at that goal, Marissa Mikens just attracts so much attention in there as she works her magic. And again, she's not scoring the goal this time, but she was definitely a key part of that one as she played it over to Julie Ewing, and the composure on the ball to just place that one in the back of the net.
Composure on Championship Sunday. But you know that the Nittany Lions are going to give a charge back. Under 36 minutes to go in this opening half.
Good positioning there by Corey Chapek to kind of hold her spot there and pick off that ball.
On the counter, Emily Hurd. A little overserved as Maya Hayes was thinking about making the run. Maya hasn't had the chance to have a lot of touches.
I don't even know if she's touched the ball once yet so far today, at least not a really meaningful touch where she's been able to do anything with it.
Definitely not a meaningful touch as Chapek trying to find Hayes.
10 minutes is a long time for her to go without touching that ball.
Hayes, number 5 for the blue and white, leading the nation with 26 goals on the season. On the Herman Trophy watch list, Chapek looking far post as she had Rosenbluth in her sights. A businesslike approach now from Penn State. Scoring a lot of goals in this tournament. 3 goals Wednesday, 3 goals Friday. But here finding themselves trailing 1-0. Ironically enough, when these two teams met in the regular season, it was a 1-0 shutout, advantage Penn State. The only time that the Fighting Illini were shut out this season. Guerra. Well-placed pass. Mutz trying to push it down the near side. Mutz, nice tenacity. But recaptured, and Emily Hurd. Nairn and Guerra involved in a struggle.
Look at Mikens coming all the way back to defend and take that ball from Hurd. Just caught her off guard there.
And now it's Mikens on the rush. Lots of Nittany Lions back into De Bernardo. De Bernardo taken down, and no call made. Vanessa can't believe it.
Well, you know what happened there? She went to take a shot, and they stepped in, and it tripped her. I mean, that's one of those calls. Look at this perfectly slided ball. She just goes to wind up and take a shot, and she gets caught up with Chapek. And in my personal opinion, that should be a foul because she was getting ready to take a swing and hit, and Chapek didn't get to the ball. She only got De Bernardo's foot. I mean, from up here, I'm in the booth, but you know, it's just one of those calls. It's not like a hard tackle or a slide tackle, but.
And you're not a foul-happy fan of soccer.
No, not at all. But I don't know. I mean, she looked like she was in on that one.
How can you not call that? She got.
Can we get another look at that? Watch her feet.
Well, I think actually that.
Well, we play on. It's still 1-0 for Illinois. Penn State still has some problems. Emily Hurd will roll it back. There's Maya Hayes. Awkward first touch. She recovers nicely. Maya Hayes from distance. And it's knocked down by Carosio. De Bernardo finding Mikens. There's Mikens back deep again, making herself available.
I think really with that last chance by Illinois, the point is they're on the attack and they are creating these amazing opportunities right now against the win, and they're possessing the ball much more than Penn State right now. So just love the combination between Vanessa De Bernardo and Marissa Mikens. I think that's what we got to keep an eye on. They're kind of on fire up top right now.
You see Taylor Schramm and Maya Hayes. They have some electric personalities, in the words of their head coach, Erica Walsh. She's big on body language, and right now the body language isn't looking too positive for the powerhouse from Penn State, as now it's the Fighting Illini. Marissa Mikens, and they look relaxed, poised, in a business-like approach here, leading 1-0 and still threatening.
Come on!
De Bernardo moments ago wanted a foul called in the box for the penalty kick. Steph Panozzo, who's played all but 6 minutes of this season. She was huge. We will remember Wednesday stopping 2 of the 4 penalty kicks against Ohio State. Jackie Melinda. You just see Mikens running all over the field, pretty energized as number 24.
And let's not forget that this Illinois team has played quite a few minutes over the past 5 days, and they're looking pretty good right now as far as energy level. We'll see, though, as the game goes on.
Penn State was pretty fired up when they had the wind at their backs in this first half, but it has not responded. They trail 1-0. Julie Ewing has the goal for the Fighting Illini. Maya Hayes, they won't find her. Guerra to Paus.
Tough ball to handle there, but Vanessa able to bring it down.
Brings it down, puts it in a safe place. They get it right back to her. It's Reed in the circle. Get some support from De Bernardo. And Guerra will switch fields. Illinois now trying to attack. Pulowski twisting and turning, left foot, floating high and wide, but why not on a day like today, already leading 1-0, go for distance.
Look at the couple touches here. Pulowski not afraid to take a few players on, and she does get a shot off.
6 goals on the season, 3rd on the team is Pulowski last year in all Big Ten freshman selection. Panozzo carefully grasping that ball on this windy day in the bouncy surface at Northwestern University. It's a championship day on the Big Ten Network. The Big Ten Women's Soccer Tournament playing for the title this afternoon. 1 versus 2. And right now, the second-ranked team of the tournament, the Fighting Illini, trying to build an upset. They lead 1-0. Guerra has it. Paus, a confident touch. De Bernardo and Pulowski get crossed up. And it's Penn State on the counter, led by Nair. Has Hayes going to the box. Hayes gets onto it. Fires, but couldn't get full force on that left-footed blast.
And those are the runs that we're talking about for Maya Hayes. She just finds a way to get in behind the defense. And look at Christie Nair, a perfectly paced ball right to Hayes. Pinozzo in the right spot at the right time, but Hayes is just so good at timing her runs and slicing in and sneaking in there behind the defense.
And then Kendra, when she gets to the ball, there's no hesitation in full motion. She just continues to pound it towards the target.
Well, just such composure. She kind of knows if she needs to take 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch. She knows how much time and space that she has.
Such a self-awareness for a sophomore. Number 5 in white is De Bernardo.
Also a sophomore. A lot of great young talent on both these teams. Both Illinois and Penn State have a lot ahead of them in the next couple years.
Maya Hayes into the box, looking for Schramm. Off a foot and deflected wide.
Dangerous, almost possibly an own goal on that one as they're trying to block that shot, and it gets deflected over the crossbar. Luckily, by, I believe it was Christina Farrell on that back line.
Carly Nittany, she had a solid match Friday, comes in for Jess Rosenbluth. Earlier this afternoon on the Big Ten Network in the Big Ten Tournament Field Hockey Championship, it was Penn State coming back to take down Michigan. So perhaps another comeback in the sights for the Nittany Lions, as here they have the corner kick directed towards the 6. And Paus will clean things up from the back. Now it's De Bernardo finishing off the task. Mikens, nicely paced ball. Nikki Reed onto it. She's got Pulowski going to the box. The trailer is Shayla Mutz. Mikens again, swiftly down that left flank. And it's going to be a corner for Illinois. Nice work by Nikki Reed down the left flank. The veteran goalkeeper, Aaron McNulty, directing traffic. Vanessa De Bernardo, the sophomore, ready to serve it in. Getting some support. As Reed put it into the box, but quickly cleared by the Nittany Lions. Schramm comes on to Paus in a hurry. There's De Bernardo out of the midfield. She can get out of trouble in a hurry. Looking to serve it. McNulty out, off a defender. But Penn State's getting dicey back there. Emma Thompson to take care of things. So much experience back there. Kinder not used to communication breakdowns like that from Penn State.
Well, a little bit surprised. That's the second time we've seen a little bit of a communication issue between Martin and McNulty. And of course, Emma Thompson always so solid back there as well. So a little bit surprised they've had a couple issues with communication.
De Bernardo finding Mikens. 3 Penn State players on her, but she gets loose. Shifty and fast, and now Mikens will curl it into the box.
And I understand the idea there, but that might be one of those situations where maybe Mikens just wants to hold up a little bit, maybe slow it down, allow the rest of her teammates, the midfield, to get forward, because at that moment it was really just her and Pulowski all on their own against 4 marking backs.
Doesn't look like Marissa Mikens' team, and especially her, 24 for the orange and blue, went to penalty kicks on Wednesday and then overtime on Friday. She's got legs of a 15-year-old out there.
Well, adrenaline is a funny thing. You know, it can really get you going, and I'm sure they were fired up for this game today.
Trying to take down the Giant. Christie Nair. Long test.
I like that idea. She knows she's got that win at her back. Just take one, just rip it.
And we haven't seen that much in the first half yet from Erica Walsh's side. Nair, 2 caps with the U.S. women's national team. Jackie Garrow will roll it back. Maya Hayes coming on to her.
A little too much there from Farrell in the back. She's got to take a cleaner touch.
Emily Hurd had it for a moment. Now it's Mikens. As Mutz denied on the pass, but still trouble brewing with Vanessa De Bernardo behind the ball. No one could take that pass as Pulowski was in the near vicinity. Under 22 minutes to go, Julie Ewing, the University of Illinois, on top, 1-0. Nikki Reed, good sense of the players coming onto her. Now it's Shayla Mutz. Mutz trying to get the pass back, and they're taking down Chappick.
A little bit too aggressive, clipped her heels a little bit there. Correct call by the referee on that one.
Lexi Martin serves it down the right flank. That'll reach for Maya Hayes. And we'll take a brief commercial timeout here with under 21 minutes to go. It's the championship game of the Big Ten tournament. Great pass from Mikens. The finish from Ewing. Illinois on top. Big Ten soccer fans, make sure to check out the BTN Soccer Report, our weekly web show on BTN.com. Some good lads. Kevin Egan joined by goalkeeping coach of the Chicago Fire, Aaron Hyde, to preview the men's tournament coming up next week on BTN. And of course, review the great weekend of women's soccer. And it's a great weekend of women's soccer so far for Janet Rayfield. How about that first goal against Penn State moments ago? It's been a while, Kendra, the first one in the last 5 meetings.
Yeah, the last one coming in 2007. So Illinois just came out firing on all cylinders, and they've looked really good here so far in the first half.
And Vanessa De Bernardo might tell you that her team should have had a chance to have a penalty kick a couple minutes after that and have a good chance to make it a 2-0 lead, but still solid soccer from the underdog as Penn State now trying to play the comeback role. Average about 2.3 goals a game, leading the Big Ten decisively in goals a game. So they have the potential. They also have the nation's leading goal scorer, Maya Hayes. De Bernardo can't find it. Janelle Flaws is into the match now for the Fighting Illini. It's Maya Hayes still lurking. Flaws has come in for Pulowski. Emily Hurd with House on her, and that allows De Bernardo to take it, but good determination there by Hurd. Thompson will serve it back to her keeper, Aaron McNulty. De Bernardo in the midfield. The turnover right in the circle. Nairn with Guerra on her. Jackie Melinda pushing up from the right back position.
And that's what makes Penn State so special, using those outside backs, as we see Melinda make that run all the way up the right side, and now she's all the way up there taking the throw in. So they're not afraid to get those outside backs forward.
Hurd goes out, Maddie Evans in. Fresh legs for Erica Walsh's side with under 19 minutes to go in the opening half. They find themselves down 1-0.
And Maddie Evans, a goal scorer in that semifinal game, so putting some more offensive power on the field to get playing with Maya Hayes. 26 goals this season, just third on the all-time list for Penn State for goals in a season, but she also leads the country with 26 goals and 60 points. So a sophomore phenom this season.
And here's the phenom, Maya Hayes, darting right side of the box, looking for Schramm, but that pass was read. Coach Erica Walsh saying Maya Hayes has been influenced last year by the men's program too, watching Corey Herzog, the great player for Bob Warming before he went to Major League Soccer. He'd just take a bag of balls every day after practice and continue to hone his craft. And then the freshman Maya Hayes was really influenced. And you get a sense talking to Erica Walsh that they share a lot of trade secrets between the men's and women's program with Bob Warming. Is now Penn State looking to bring it in. He'll get the corner.
And just the history of success at Penn State overall, the volleyball, the field hockey, the football. I mean, so many successful programs at Penn State. I'm sure all the coaches love to get together and kind of share secrets, and the players feed off that success as well.
Second in the conference in volleyball, and they have some tremendous sophomores. You can imagine Erica Walsh and Bob Warming and a lot of the coaches, they'd be like mad scientists talking about strategies. And of course, some body language. Right now, it's Penn State down off the corner and nothing developing there.
Smart play there by Nikki Reed to just head that out the end line. Her thought was, I'm going to get to it first, and I'm just going to clear it out, even if it's for another corner kick.
Third quarter here for the Nittany Lions. Nair, the junior, she wants it just right here with the wind. She gets it right, curls it in high, out of range for Chapek. As Chapek will track it down and earn the deep throw in.
It actually looks like she was able to work it and get it off Chapek. Well done there by, I believe it was number 10, Shayla Mutz. Chapek was trying to get it back to end line there, maybe work a corner kick, but Mutz played it well.
Cassidy Brown coming into the match.
Look at Chapek, she's looking back thinking, am I gonna go to sport? You know what, she tried to get a little cheeky there with a little Cruyff and hit it off her own heel.
It's one of my favorite soccer terms, Kendra. How would you describe? No, that, but cheeky.
Oh, cheeky. Just a little crafty, you know, when you can use your feet like some of these players can.
That's not cheeky, this is more gritty.
That's just a nice hard collision. Good aggressive play by both Ninnis and Paus on that. But they both bounce right back up.
Look like the other football, Nebraska and Northwestern. This is the beautiful game. Corner here for the Nittany Lions, Christie Nair. Low service off the side netting.
She doesn't look happy with that one. I don't mind the low driven ball, but obviously she was not planning on that one heading out of bounds out the end line.
Guerra spun around a little bit. It allows Schramm to flick it out wide. Maddie Evans. Goes end line, Evans towards the goal and off the roof. Not a bad idea.
Danielle, I've noticed a little bit of different pace here from Penn State since we came back from that timeout. The ball's hardly crossed half field. Did you notice anything during that timeout?
Well, during the timeout, Coach Walsh was definitely into her team. She was telling them that they need to pick up the intensity. They need to pick up the intensity and also work on connecting their passes. Keeping possession, being intense is what's going to help them, according to Coach Walsh.
Nair out wide. Carly Ninnis trying the left foot in. Safely out by Carosio. Gets caught up in the wind just a tad. Guerra gets surprised. Look at the work there of Ninnis. Now Ninnis, the left footer. And that's into the parking lot, but she has had a good work rate here for Penn State. She was noticeable Friday, and of course they're going to need her here on Championship Sunday, down 1-0.
She's trying to bring a little bit of energy off the bench here for Penn State, and Guerra just got caught off guard. I heard her teammates yelling, man on, but Ninnis just got to her just in time. But Penn State has hardly allowed that ball out of the halfway line, out of their offensive half here since we came back from that timeout. Really putting the pressure on.
But even now, when they're putting the pressure on and controlling the ball, we still haven't seen them make a connection with Maya Hayes yet. Just takes one. Janelle Flaws looking for the turnover, but Martin and Thompson in the middle. De Bernardo, Thompson some trouble. Safely for Jackie Melinda. And De Bernardo is down behind the play in the box. Is Penn State now marching on? Schramm, the flick to Maya Hayes, the volley! Maya Hayes has just scored her nation-leading 27th goal, and Penn State has tied it.
Penn State with a great finish there as we see Vanessa De Bernardo still down on the other end, and Janet Rayfield threw her papers on the floor as Maya Hayes scores her 27th goal of the season. Look at this ball in from Nairn, and then a flick from Schramm. She finds Hayes and a one-time volley. Beautiful finish, beats Pinozzo on that play. And again, there's that triangle, Nairn to Schramm to Hayes, and look at that placement, beating Pinozzo with that finish. But I'm telling you, Janet Rayfield was fired up because her player was still down on the other end of the field. De Bernardo still getting treatment, getting looked at, maybe stubbed an ankle there, and she was fired up that the referee did not stop play as it was all the way on the other end.
There's number 20, watch the knee.
I actually think it might be her right ankle. She looked like she was in some definite pain because we know Vanessa, she pops up pretty quickly when she's struggling. And because the ball was all the way on the other end of the field and then in the midfield, I think that's why Coach Rayfield is thinking, why didn't they play that ball out, or why didn't the referee stop it? Just because it wasn't an offensive threat at that point for Penn State. It wasn't taking away an offensive opportunity because it was all the way back in the other goal box, in the other penalty box. So they had plenty of, that's what her thought was, I'm guessing, from the sideline. She was pretty fired up about it.
Nittany Lion fans, their thought is, let's see more of Maya Hayes.
But there's that triangle we talked about. The Nairn to Schramm to Hayes, that's what's been working for Penn State. And not to take anything away from the rest of the team, but that triangle has just been so potent all season for the Nittany Lions.
Schramm just opens things up wonderfully for Maya Hayes, and she's got the ability to finish.
She moves right up, tied with Christie Walsh. Second on the all-time for a single season, 27. And I'm sure she's still leading the country.
Trying to catch Tiffany Weimer. This is Emma Thompson. They all congregate on the right side of the box. Punched away nicely by Pinozzo.
The trainer's looking.
The wind continues to blow, gusts of over 30 miles per hour. The underdog, Illinois, opened up the scoring on a goal from Ewing, but Maya Hayes, with her nation-leading 27th strike of the season, has leveled the match. Danielle, what are you seeing with Vanessa De Bernardo down there?
Well, the trainer's taking a look at her. It looks like they're looking at her right ankle. I'm sure if she has anything to say about it, she'll be back in this match, but we'll have to wait and see.
Are they taking her stuff off, maybe taping it up, or still trying to figure out what they're going to do or putting ice? Or
well, they're just assessing it right now. They haven't made any final decisions. We'll see in the second half. Maybe she'll even be back.
you know she's going to want to be back, as we maybe saw the trainer there. It looked like maybe wrapping a little bit of ice on it. So she may have that shoe and sock off, maybe just this last 10 minutes, you know, take a breather, get some ice on it, and hopefully she'll be back for the second half.
De Bernardo and these Fighting Illini, they want their first Big Ten tournament title since 2003, and they want to take down the #1 seed, the 11th ranked Nittany Lions, but Maya Hayes and company not making it very easy. Nair couldn't make the connection down the right flank.
Trying to find Maddie Evans on that right side, but again, that ball just rolls so quickly out the end line, a little too much pace on it.
Just not accustomed to seeing Penn State without about 50% of the starting 11 with big smiles on their faces because they're usually in cruise control with a comfortable lead, but here getting the momentum back, but still level. Shayla Mutz and the Fighting Illini making the march. Post, the freshman from Hanover Park, Illinois, has had a nice weekend. A rare miscue from Mikens, showing her frustration along the near touchline.
Tried to beat Martin with that touch, but well played by Lexi Martin in the back to kind of step in front of Mikens and shield that ball.
Minutes to go. The opening half. Concerned look from Carly Nittany. It's because 24 is behind the ball for the Fighting Illini. Marissa Mikens. Nicely towards the back post, and it's angled wide of goal as Janelle Flaws got on the end of that one.
How about that driven ball, though, by Marissa Mikens? Perfect. I mean, she's playing against the wind here, so she basically took that like a shot. Just a laser towards that back post, and there was Janelle Flaws on it. She just didn't quite get the header she was hoping for.
Love the advice that Coach Brayfield gave her at half last game. 90% more accuracy, 10% less power, and she took the coach's words into overtime and buried the game winner, did Marissa Mikens. She was errant early, but she figured things out just in the time. She's made a habit out of scoring game-winning goals. Nice combination up top there with Vanessa De Bernardo coming in from the midfield, and call going the Illini's way here. Nine fouls on the afternoon in this first half. Mikens looking at options. Finds Reed, but Reed couldn't control it. And Penn State out of the back, led by Whitney Church.
There's Mikens all the way back to defend because she knows her teammates are pushed up. Trying to help out on defense.
She covers so much field. McNulty will leave her line. Jackie Guerra. Out wide for Shayla Mutz. Shots 8-3, advantage Penn State. Mikens trying to spin back for it. So here's Nair trying to put it over the top. Corosio, nice job. Mutz gets the through ball to Janelle Flaws. Flaws, some nice moves on the flank. Back and forth she goes. Cooley pace pass to Mikens. Can she hold it? Mikens gets the throw in, quickly finding Shayla Mutz. You can sense the urgency. Look at Mutz go. Into the box, the fake, now the take. And it wasn't much of one. It was blocked by Martin. Again, now a little surge from Illinois. House to the arc. And Illinois doesn't agree with the whistle. At least she's breathing hard, Marissa Mikens, because the work rate has been phenomenal in the first 40 minutes. And the production with the assist on the goal from Julie Ewing. The Big Ten championship is on the line. Penn State expected to win. Fighting Illini. If you ask their head coach, Janet Rayfield, she'd probably say they've faced a little adversity here in the first 45.
But they've done a good job working through it. They had a possible PK and then maybe Vanessa going down and that not being called. But you know what? The Fighting Illini, they're bouncing right back and they're getting up and they're going back to work. They're not focusing on missed calls or woulda, coulda, shoulda. Continuing to play hard, Mikens.
Good job to get it through Maddie Evans. Marissa Mikens from distance, sailing over the crossbar.
She knew she was going to have to put a little extra on that because she is going against the wind, but it did sail on her a bit at the very end there.
Perhaps Janet would tell her now, less accuracy, more force in the first 45 with this win. Down to the final 4 minutes of the opening half. It's Nikki Reed quieting things down. There's Pouts, shot out of a cannon down the right side. Crowd building up here at Lakeside Field. They're fighting Illini, are impressing in the second surge here. Trying to cut into the box was Nikki Reed. Possession maintained. They haven't really missed a beat here without De Bernardo. Maya Hayes looking to take it away. Julie Ewing absorbing the tackle, and it's Maya Hayes coming the other way for Penn State. To Schramm, it's the magic connection. Back and forth they go. Maddie Evans was looking to make the run just out of her reach.
Maybe one too many give and goes on that side as Nittany was wide open on this left side. Maybe a switch field there by Schramm as got a little congested on that right sideline.
Well, stick around, just 2 minutes away from halftime. Coaches interviews from the sideline with Danielle Slayton, and we'll take a look ahead to a busy Sunday lineup on BTN. Of course, all the pertinent numbers from the first 45 minutes. Carosio into the box. Getting the chance there was Shayla Mutz. Just a little too much elevation.
A little too much on that one, and I guarantee she's going to want that one back as she gets it. Look at just a little bit of a misplayed header. She flies through there, but I like the fact that she took it a quick 2 touches there. She didn't try to do too much with it, but over the crossbar.
Now getting some shots are the orange and blue. And right from the get-go, they have not been in awe of the Taylor Schramms, the Maya Hayes, and these Nittany Lions. They've come to play.
Not a single Penn State player going to that ball there. It was 3 Illinois players. I didn't see any white jerseys around that one. Very unusual for them not to be on that first ball there.
Life is good for Janet Rayfield right now in the second seed fighting Illini. Wouldn't you agree, Kendra? They've absorbed some non-calls. They don't have De Bernardo, and here they just continue to play on, and they're level here with the Nittany Lions.
They're level, but they know they have another 45, and they're going to have to continue to hold their own.
Carosio, she's been solid. There, a little shove from Emma Thompson opens some room up. Nittany, Maya Hayes couldn't work around Guerra. 27 seconds to go in the opening half. Safely put out by Mikens. It's Whitney Church towards the 18. Nairn will give it a try. Guerra safely out wide. 45 minutes complete. And they could be in the lead, but they're level. They couldn't keep Maya Hayes off the board. as she gets her nation-leading 27th goal, but opening up the scoring, it was Julie Ewing and them fighting Illini as they try and take the tournament trophy and upset Penn State. Stick around for more intermission action. That's a good sight for the Fighting Illini fans. Number 20, Vanessa De Bernardo, looking like she's ready for action here for the second 45. Moments ago, our own Danielle Slayton had a moment to catch up with Penn State's head coach, Erica Walsh.
Erica, you guys got off to a little bit of a slow start, but I thought things got better as you guys went on. What was the difference there?
Started working as a team a little bit more. Our pressure started to come in groups of players rather than just individuals. And I think once Schramm and Hayes started working together, I thought we got much better.
And will you need to make any tactical changes because you're going to be going into the win in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, credit to Illinois. They're playing well and they're playing hard, and we're going to have to deal with their special players and defend as a group right now and be a little bit better with the ball. Our choices need to be better.
Great. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thanks.
Dan, Kendra, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Danielle. 17 straight NCAA tournament appearances, and look at the damage they've done in the Big Ten Conference.
14 straight Big Ten regular season titles. Northwestern women's tennis on their heels with 13, and of course they don't play till the spring, so they have a chance to tie it. But that is the most in any sport in the Big Ten for women.
Last time Penn State won the Big Ten tournament in field hockey and soccer, you got to go back to 1998. Earlier, the field hockey women took care of it for the Nittany Lions. Now, we'll see if the soccer program can do it. Guerra in the midfield, delicately to Nikki Reed. Mikens couldn't make the connection on the right flank. As you can hear the wind gusts of up to 35 miles per hour during the game. At times it seems rather calm, and then that 35 mile per hour gust comes up in your face. Pretty nice temperature conditions for November in the Chicagoland area. We're just about 12 miles north of Second City, Evanston, Illinois, Lakeside Field, the site of the Big Ten Women's Tournament. Guerra from distance, and it will bounce on McNulty as she safely grabs it.
But I like that idea. She's already adjusted mentally, Guerra has, to having the wind at her back here in the second half, and she knows that she has the ability now to take those shots from the midfield, to take those shots 30, 35 yards out, and she wasn't afraid there. Didn't quite get there that time, but I like the aggressiveness.
How about Penn State now going against the wind? How does it change their attack?
Well, they're so possession-oriented anyway. You know, I mean, I don't think that they're going to have to change a ton. I think they're going to have to change more defensively, as we heard Coach Erica Walsh saying, tactically, trying to kind of keep track of what Illinois is doing with the wind at their back, whereas Penn State, they're so possession-oriented. They like to slot that ball through to Schramm and Hayes. They're going to keep doing what they do.
Good thing they've got that veteran keeper back there, and Aaron McNulty, who will have to adjust with that win and making guesses from distance. And here she backtracks. Penn State coming on. Emma Thompson.
And that's a tough ball for McNulty because that ball is coming back at her with pace, and she's almost inside her 6 there. She's not going to get a good clearance on it with that wind.
Sails away from Melinda. Be a goal kick for Penn State.
She's going to really have to drive this ball, but we know that's something McNulty spends a lot of time working on, is her distribution. We've heard Coach Walsh say she works 2 to 3 times a week on her own outside of their training sessions, just working to get better.
And when you have the 10 players in front, it's a good thing that your experienced keeper can distribute with the best of them. A lot of options.
Look at that ball just hang up there.
As it seems to be picking up here in the second half is Melinda into the middle. Jess Rosenbluth. Martin will play it up high. Nair didn't know where it was for a moment. Taylor Schramm Very patient, anticipated by Illinois. Weaving her way into the midfield, Shayla Mutz confidently. De Bernardo.
I wish she would have found Ewing on the outside over here. Shayla Mutz did a great job dribbling it across and trying to switch fields, but then tried to force it back in the middle, and Mutz was, or actually was Ewing wide open here on the left side. Good
Guerra.
tackle.
It's Jackie Guerra again. Vanessa doesn't seem to be full speed, but a nice touch. Trying to float it over the top for Nikki Reed.
How about that header backwards? I mean, that was planned. That wasn't accidental. That just didn't hit her in the head. That was well done by Nikki Reed as she's running to try to head it back to her teammates.
Junior Nikki Reed has been solid. Julie Ewing has the lone goal for the Fighting Illini, but it was answered back by Maya Hayes in her 27th of the season.
And Danielle, you were down there on the sideline as both teams came back out to warm up for the second half. What did you see from Vanessa De Bernardo as she was warming up, and do you think she's going to be full strength here?
She looks good to me. I mean, she was jogging on it. She might have been going a little bit gingerly. It's probably going to take her a tackle or two to make sure that she can confidently deal with that ankle, but she looked good coming out of the locker room at the end of this half.
And I think Danielle's right. Once you got to go full speed, or you get in a tackle, or you serve a ball or something, and you know you have the confidence to hit it, and you're not in pain, I think that might be what it's taking. But she hasn't had to do that yet here at the start of the second half.
And an 80% Vanessa De Bernardo, still pretty dangerous. Just a slight limp.
Emma Thompson really stepping on Mikens there. She's not even letting her receive that ball, so Mikens might have to figure out some other ways to get to it.
Emily Hurd, Maya Hayes, looking for separation, but stepping up with the Fighting Illini. Emma Thompson, the flub on the back. We'll see if Mikens and the Illini can take control of it, and that's how you make up for a mistake there. Number 25 in white, Emma Thompson.
An unusual one, too many touches from Mikens on that one.
Nairn will brush it over for an awaiting Emily Hurd. Mutz got in her way. Mutz turned around by Hayes. It's Lexi Martin. Whitney Church finding Hayes now at Schramm. It's De Bernardo. Flipping it on, Emma Thompson back. Pels will get the throw in right in front of the Fighting Illini bench. Thompson stepping up for Penn State. Schramm to Nair. Jess Rosenbluth out of range for Maya Hayes.
Look at the punt there by Pinozzo on that one, that drop kick.
Pretty much into the final third, almost on the fly.
Forward's got to be ready for that one.
Pels try to send it over the top. She had Pulowski making a run, but McNulty will nullify it. Schramm elevates. So slippery is Maya Hayes. Failing to make the connection down the left flank. Possession again from the Fighting Illini. They're playing for a Big Ten tournament championship. 1 versus 2. And the #1 seed right now with the ball at their feet. Maya Hayes is separated there by a poised Paus.
A great tackle by the freshman right back, Paus. She's been really doing a good job keeping an eye on Maya Hayes. Not necessarily man marking her, but doing a good job when she does take her one-on-one. And there's another great job by Mutz.
She gets it loose and Marissa Mikens directing traffic, gathering some speed.
Love that switch field. So much space over here for Reed.
All by her lonesome is Nikki Reed. Now Jackie Melinda approaching. Nikki Reed going end line, left-footing it in, but couldn't cut it in enough.
All that work, unfortunately, for Nikki Reed, as she did such a great job staying wide. But look at the stuff there by Shayla Mutz on Maya Hayes, and Mikens all the way back in the defensive third, and she's directing her teammates. And she finds Nikki Reed on the switch field, and she goes the distance, just unable to get that cross off as she hits it out over the end line for a goal kick. But it was great possession by Illinois, and it started on the defensive end with Shayla Mutz.
Nikki Reed to the goal scorer for the Fighting Illini, Julie Ewing. Right back to Reed. Easily handled by McNulty here with under 36 minutes to go. Still deadlocked at 1. We've played a lot of extra soccer over the course of this tournament. Both games for the Fighting Illini. First game Wednesday, penalty kicks over Ohio State. And then Friday in sudden death overtime. It only took 1 overtime for Marissa Mikens to get the game winner. Now Marissa Mikens looking for another one. Denied entry as Melinda and company got a foot on it.
Well, they did a good job of kind of stacking their 2 marking backs there. We have a first and a second defender, so if Mikens does get by the first one, there's always a second one there to try to step in and help out if Mikens maybe makes that long touch. But she does win a corner kick.
3 game-winning goals this year, 6 on her career. She gets ready to take the 4th corner kick of this match. Marissa Mikens. Solid strike towards the back post. Emma Thompson was rising up for it, and she draws the foul there in the box.
Well done by Emma Thompson to get up in the air and win that ball, because it was really floating in on that back post. Look at her just rise up, perfect timing, and it was a foul there on Cassidy Brown. She just kind of came flying in at the last second.
.33.5 minutes remaining in the second half. 1 versus 2, Illinois and Penn State, Lakeside Field, Evanston, Illinois. Danielle Slayton, Kinder D. St. Aubin. I'm Dan Kelly. Thanks for checking in on a little Sunday soccer on the Big Ten Network, and they're going for the big trophy this afternoon. Last time this tournament was played in 2008, it was the Nittany Lions winning it.
That's a great ball in on that back post. I think it caught Corey Chapek just a little bit off guard as it sliced in through the box on that angle. Look at Nikki Reed taking a touch inside, and she was aiming for there. She's aiming on that back 6. And it looked like Shayla Mutz was making that run. Well done by Illinois to try to get that, sneak that ball in on the far post.
Polowski out, Janelle Flaws in for the Fighting Illini. And a big corner kick. We'll see if the wind can help them here. Marissa Mikens sails out towards the 6, and it allows Schramm to punch it out.
Penn State with all 11 players back in there for that corner kick. They sent everybody back.
Guerra and Mutz break things up in the middle.
That far post is open.
Julie Ewing stripped of the ball by Jess Rosenbluth. Maya Hayes coolly chesting it back to Schramm, and just gets caught up in the wind again as Emily Hurd now under duress with Mikens in her face. And Marissa providing the takeaway. So shifty in the middle, Marissa Mikens. Jackie Guerra.
Look at that touch by Vanessa De Bernardo. A nice driven ball at her foot, but she's able to just bring it down. Good step there in the middle by Whitney Church.
Now on the counterattack, it's Taylor Schramm. Not a lot of numbers forward here for the Nittany Lions. Christie Nair will track back. Perhaps trying to force things into Rosenbluth there a little bit, Kendra.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Erica Walsh is going to be happy with some of these balls that they're playing in kind of over the top, and they're trying to be real direct going into the wind. I know that she likes the possession her team can have when they keep it on the ground, and they're maybe just forcing it just a tad. Danielle, you hearing anything on the sideline over there from Coach Erica Walsh as they're possessing or trying to possess?
Well, I'm not hearing too much, but from what I'm seeing here on the sideline, I completely agree with you. I think that Maya Hayes has to do a better job of showing to feet so she can be a release for the Penn State team. They can find her to feet, get up, not have to worry so much about that win, and then she can try to make that run behind. I think that's how they're going to have a little bit more success and break this pressure that's really coming from Mother Nature.
One of your keys, Kendra, for the Fighting Illini to contain Hayes and Schramm. They've done a pretty good job, but of course Maya has gotten loose for her 27th.
Well, and there's a time right there, as Danielle was just talking about. She did try to check back to the ball on that one. It was just misplayed. But you're right, they have done a pretty good job of containing her and kind of forcing her to make runs that aren't real successful. But that's the thing with her. It only takes one time for her to sneak through there, as we saw in the goal in the first half.
Nairn to Schramm. Turns it, and Schramm gets converged on by two defenders. Guerra was getting involved.
And Schramm not happy about that one. She wanted the first call there, but I think it was actually a pretty good double team by Illinois to kind of wrap Schramm up. And then it looked like she took Guerra down, kind of wrapped her legs up there for the foul. The ball's doing a lot of bouncing around here so far in the second half. I think both teams just trying to settle it down a bit.
Offside flag is raised here with a little over 29 minutes remaining in this second half that is all level. The Aurora, Ontario native, Lexi Martin.
Another look at that offside call. That was pretty close. That's one of those with the linesman, you know, it can go really either way. Martin almost looked like she maybe was just keeping her on side by a step.
Look at Pouse. It was a nice first touch by Maya, but couldn't get around Pouse.
How about that freshman defender?
She doesn't look like a freshman at all. Not intimidated by the Nittany Lions. And that says something when you got Maya coming into your sights. And the rest of the cast, Taylor Schramm, Christie Nair. There's a lot of dangerous weapons. This is a team that has scored 3 goals in their previous 2 games in the Big Ten tournament, but held to 1 so far. We saw Bree Hovington come in, and number 23 in blue and white. She was pretty solid Friday. Flaws. Thompson scalpels it off her foot. De Bernardo trying to win it back. She and Schramm go up for it, and it comes down to Guerra. Cassidy Brown. There's Bree Hovington's first touch. Rosenbluth. Ewing in pursuit, so she'll roll it back. Shots 9-6, favor of Penn State. Hovington wants him a little closer. Finds Nairn, but it ricochets loose, and Hurd will get after it. It's Melinda's pass intercepted. Shayla Mutz. Reed towards the 18. And a little doubt there from Lexi Martin, so she'll quickly play it out.
So much communication going on there between the Penn State marking backs and the midfielders. And that's definitely one of their strengths. That unit has played really well together this entire season. But a key is that communication between Emma Thompson, Lexi Martin, and of course, Erin McNulty, the goalkeeper.
It's Emma Thompson. Hurd could not accept the pass. Janelle Flaw is looking for it, but Penn State will boot it away. Mutz, good tenacity, and maintains possession, gives to De Bernardo. She goes to the cul-de-sac a few times to get loose. Nikki Reed, and quickly losing it. Whitney Church will push up for Penn State. This is Christie Nair. Hurd finding Hayes. Rosenbluth making a run. Maya Hayes trying to dart down the left side. And it's Carosio with the stance.
And Carosio, the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, makes a great step there. Maya Hayes took that one touch just a little too far. Look at that body language from Maya Hayes right there after she lost that ball. Just a little bit too far in front of her, and a great job by Carosio to really step in and slide tackle there. And maybe just a little bit of frustration by the front line in the midfield for Penn State right now, because again, this is something they're not used to. They're not used to not having that success in the offensive third in those connecting passes.
Trying to keep things positive on the Penn State bench. Carly Ninnis re-entering the match. Coming out, Jess Rosenbluth.
Kendra, you were talking a little bit about the frustration you're seeing out of Maya Hayes, and what I'm thinking, if I'm a coach, that this is the perfect opportunity to teach your team what it means to be in a big situation. They've got the NCAA tournament that's going to come up next week. This is the perfect opportunity to learn, know what it means to be in a tight game, and fight your way to a victory.
Danielle Slayton, you're in your old perch, the former assistant coach for Northwestern University. Is this surprising what the Fighting Illini are doing so far?
Well, we've seen them possess it. We know they're a good and talented team. I think they're putting it all together at the right time, and I think Janet Rayfield has got to be pretty pleased.
Getting vicious there by the 18, cleaned up in the back by Penn State. Just good vicious action, though. As you can sense the intensity, it's a championship Sunday.
Well, and Danielle, you played on a winning, successful team like Penn State has been this season. It's always easy to have great body language when you're winning all the time, so this is a bit of a test for Penn State.
I totally agree, but these are the matches that prepare you to be an elite team. Penn State has been dominating in this conference. Now it's time for them to take it to the next level. If they want to be nationally competitive year after year, these are the perfect games to prepare them to do that.
A little bit of a misplay there by McNulty. Not quite the drop kick she was looking for.
De Bernardo. Patiently out of the back. Ninnis can't play it forward in play.
Someone on her team there might need to tell her, hey, you got a minute here to bring that ball down.
It's a windy day. Ninnis and the Nittany Lions trying to get back in the lead, and they want the hardware, the Big Ten tournament trophy on the line. Deadlocked at 1 here midway through the second half in the championship game of the Big Ten tournament. They're going for the title this afternoon in Penn State. History is on their side. It's Illinois looking for their first tournament title since 2003. Of course, this is the first tournament since 2008 after a 2-year break, and it's good to have the tournament, the excitement, and the energy back.
When we talked about the two teams, this is the 7th time they met in the tournament, but also the 3rd time they've met in the championship game. And back in 2006, Penn State beat Illinois 3-1, and that was also a 1-2 matchup. So these two opponents very familiar with each other, especially in the final.
Guerra out of the back, flipped on by Mikens. Safely, Emma Thompson sensing some company coming, so she'll nod it back to McNulty here with 22 minutes to go. Both teams have been careful here in the second half.
And we've been talking about the wind, but it is 58 degrees out here today. Everyone's in short sleeves, so in November, the weather could always be worse. We're still very fortunate to be out here, and the fans have been great. The short sleeves, shorts, nobody's wearing gloves, nobody's wearing hats out there on the field. So even though it's windy, it's still been a really nice weekend for the tournament.
You mean besides yourself?
Well, I don't count me. I mean, I've got a turtleneck on and long underwear, but I'm kind of a wimp. I've gotten soft. Yeah, look at those guys. Although you see that guy in the far left, I can see him down in front of us, and his back muscles were shaking before. I mean, he was like, you know, shivering uncontrollably, so he might want to rethink that.
Emma Thompson on the corner for the Nittany Lions. Punched away by Pinozo.
Well done by Pinozo. Aggressive off her line there.
We haven't had to mention her name too much. And their testing from outside was Whitney Church, a little wide.
And Whitney Church, another freshman, that's a lot of responsibility in that holding midfield position on a team like this with such success. We don't say her name a lot, but she sure does her job in that defensive position. Both teams saying it's their ball, so we'll see what the referee goes with.
Bree Hovington and Penn State get the throw in, but quickly relinquish possession. Vanessa De Bernardo, sophomore, knifes it into Mikens. Good movement off the ball here, and good movement on the ball by Mikens. She's not big, but she's got a big presence, this number 24. But there it's Melinda cleaning things up. Guerra will let the freshman take it. Why not the way she's played? House brushes it ahead. Nikki Reed doesn't get a lot of accolades, but she does a lot for the Fighting Illini. Now to the goal scorer, Julie Ewing. Trying to turn it on Hovington. Into the box. And nicely out of the box, Lexi Martin clears it.
I like that dummy by Illinois, though. I think it was Denenberg made that run. Dummied that ball for De Bernardo. Penn State able to clear it.
Both teams being careful, but you can almost sense a goal here coming in regulation, or at least a great chance. They're going for it here late.
Illinois' got to be careful with their shape. Ninnis wide open on this right side. I know Maya Hayes and Taylor Schramm attract a lot of attention, but she's open over here.
Ninnis by one. Not by two, but fighting to the end, trying to maintain possession. And the Nittany Lions. Good dummy there in the middle by Nair. Coming up, it's Melinda. Served high. Clutching it there, Pinozo.
And you'll notice that both De Bernardo and Mikens are now playing up top for Illinois. I think they've been the two strongest players for Illinois so far. So it looks like Janet Rayfield is really going after it and trying to put her two dangerous weapons up top to combine together.
What do you think about that, Danielle? I mean, do you love the attitude of Rayfield? They're not going to sit back. They're going to try to go for this?
I love it. I like that move. I mean, they have the wind at their back. They've been playing very well. They've got 18 minutes left in this half, and they might as well use it, because you never know, if it goes into overtime, you might be against the wind one more time.
Danielle, do you think De Bernardo potentially not being 100% is why they switched the positions with her?
I'm not sure about that. I just think that she's been really dangerous. I mean, she's been creating opportunities. She's been knocked down a couple times in the box. Perhaps that's why Janet Rayfield is putting her up there, hoping that she can create something dangerous. If not a shot on goal herself, perhaps a foul somewhere close to the box.
And her and Mikens just combine so well. I mean, usually they go forward midfield, but they do a great job of quick 1-2 play combining, trying to get in the 18 maybe.
Rising up there, Carly Ninnis.
We also can't forget about what Coach Rayfield has really emphasized with this team. The front seven, meaning the midfielders and the forwards, are so dynamic and they're interchangeable. She loves the talent of all 7 of those players, so she can really switch and move them around, and they do it on their own sometimes. And she loves that about this team.
Now seeing a little sustained pressure from the Nittany Lions and maybe a little more urgency that wasn't there the first part of this match. Melinda. Head up the whole way, finding Schramm. Mikens had it for a moment. Guerra allows him to maintain possession. De Bernardo couldn't go back for it. I don't wonder if that's a ball Vanessa would normally be able to get after. Cassidy Brown out of the back. Ewing into the middle to Reed. De Bernardo couldn't get to that header. Played out by Church. Spolowski re-entering the match, replacing Shayla Mutz. It's been a long weekend of soccer, Kendra.
And I think Illinois may use quite a few subs here in the second half. I mean, they've got quite a bit of depth, but as you said, a lot of soccer for Illinois so far in this weekend of tournament. Hard
minutes, tournament minutes, with a lot of games on the line, going the distance. It's Corosio. Now the fresh legs of Megan Pulowski. A turnaround there, and Nairn leading the charge. Pass a little behind Schramm, and it allows Illinois to intercept. Reed behind the ball. Out of reach there for Julie Ewing.
And Pulowski was going to start making that second run behind Vanessa De Bernardo. But Reed already kind of had her sights set on the outside midfield position. But I like the movement off the ball right now by Illinois. They're trying to find those spaces and get behind that Penn State defense.
De Bernardo, not the only athlete in her family that plays the beautiful game, right, Kendra?
You're right, Angelo De Bernardo. Her father was also her club coach growing up and played at IU, played on the national team for 7 years. So now we know nothing against her mom. Maybe she's a great athlete too, but I do know about her dad, Angelo.
Plays some good soccer, I've been told, at Bloomington, Indiana. As Maya Hayes was looking for it. The gusts of wind continue. Here at Lakeside Field, a little above 30 miles per hour at times. Vanessa De Bernardo. She scored a big goal Wednesday in the quarterfinals to allow Illinois to get the extra kicks. There's Emma Thompson and Lexi Martin, the backbone of the back line for Penn State. Covington into the middle.
Another missed pass there by Penn State out of the back. Nairn maybe not moving off the ball quite as much, but Martin not able to find her feet.
Now Penn State with some speed behind the ball. Ninnis floats it into the middle, but not making those connections. Illinois is. De Bernardo from distance with the wind behind her, but is easily handled by McNulty.
And we have Allie Schaefer now on the right outside midfield position, number 11 for Penn State. That's the first time she's seen the field in this game. A little surprising because that's kind of a spark for Erica Walsh. She loves to use Allie Schaefer off the bench, and she's got the ability with that depth to have such a great player come off for her. I'm surprised this is the first time we're seeing her.
Julie Ewing, the goal scorer for the Fighting Illini. And not much hope finding that ball. Watching him battle here in the final 13 minutes. You see the numbers from Allie Schaefer, 15 points on the season.
15 points from your 12th man. Somebody who can come off the bench. 5 goals, 5 assists. She's just had a tremendous year for Penn State.
She scored in the regular season in the 39th minute. against Illinois. It was a very congested midfield that day. Things haven't been as congested this afternoon, but pretty solid defense is the cool throw-in from the far touch. De Bernardo denied access there by Martin, and Bree Hovington under duress, so she'll just get rid of it. Cassidy Brown.
I'm not seeing anything wrong with Vanessa's ankle. I mean, she's gone into a few tackles now. She's changed directions with it. Maybe her takeoff speed, a step or a half step slow, but she doesn't seem afraid to get into any tackles or serve any balls with her foot.
Down to the final 11 minutes. Haven't heard a lot from Maya Hayes lately. She has the lone goal for Penn State back in the opening half. Here's Hovington pushing up from the right back position. She's got some space in front of her. Bree Hovington turns it towards Maya Hayes, but immediately snuffed out by Illinois. Pulowski going down to the turf to keep possession. This is Julie Ewing. Nice moves. Looking for De Bernardo to make a run. Julie Ewing doing it all this afternoon, getting the goal, showing those fancy feet in the midfield.
It actually started out with a little bit of a mistake there. She left the ball behind her and just a little touch around Allie Schaefer. Beat her up the line.
Nice recoveries. Penn State, again, a turnover in the midfield.
Danielle, you know how possession-oriented Penn State is. We've seen it the whole tournament. Are you surprised that they're not able to connect from the back to the middle and keep that ball?
Well, I think it might have to do a little bit just with the wind here.
Reed wanted De Bernardo. Instead, she'll get a deep throw in.
I think it's just so difficult when you have to try to keep possession and you're going into the wind, because you really have to overhit every single ball that you're trying to pass. Even just a 10-yard pass has to be hit like you're trying to make it travel 20 yards. And when you have to adjust from halftime, that makes it even more difficult. So I think that has to do a little bit with why they're struggling.
Shayla Mutz comes in for Pulowski. Guerra, good collision there.
Looks like Guerra may get a yellow card for this one. The referee's calling her back. I would think it was an innocent collision. It was definitely a very tough, aggressive collision as Schramm was going to the ball and was getting there first. But by no means, I don't think, was she trying to be dirty. We just know how aggressive Guerra is. I mean, she's kind of small in stature, doesn't have a lot of height. But yes, that was, I could see that being worthy of a card. Came just a little too late, I think.
Both tough combatants. Taylor Schramm hops right back up. Doesn't faze her much. It's tournament time. It's late. Under 9 minutes to go. Urgency from both sides. A trophy is on the line.
I just don't know about that ball from there. That's just such a tough one. I mean, she hit it well, as Danielle was just talking about, having to overhit. But that's just such a tough ball for Allie Schaefer to bring down.
At this point of the match, overtime is looming. Who would that favor? Would it be the underdog in the Fighting Illini because anything can happen, or how's the wind going to factor in, Kendra?
Well, it's going to depend, I think, a lot on your right, who has the wind at their back to start the overtime period. All the way that we started the game, it didn't matter for Illinois. Normally, I would say it favors Penn State because Illinois has played so much extra time, but Illinois is just looking so good in this game. They just look really composed. As Guerra looks like she goes down with an injury here, and looks like we're going to have another card, maybe a late tackle on Ninnis. Caught her in the knee, I think, and it may have just been a collision, a little bit of a late tackle, but Ninnis, I believe, coming up with a yellow card there. And Guerra does not look like she's feeling too good right now. See, there was a, yep, she went in cleats up. Ninnis had a bad touch as far as it got out a little too far in front of her, and she had to reach for it and tackle. cleats up. Danielle, do you have a pretty good angle of that one down there?
Well, to me, it looked like Gara went down for it. She went to tackle, and then Carly Ninnis just came in a little bit behind. And like you said it, she went in cleats up, and it looked like it might have caught Gara right in the knee or perhaps in the thigh.
She does not look like she's feeling good right now, and I think I see maybe just a little bit of a mark on her left kneecap, but Ninnis had a bit of a bad touch. Too far out in front, forced her to reach for it, and she did go in cleats up on Gara as Gara tries to walk this one off. That can be very, very dangerous. The fact that Gara's even getting up is a good sign. De Bernardo with the shot there. Looked like it may have deflected off of Nair's hand, but they're gonna play on. Really the first, maybe second shot we've seen from De Bernardo today. Dangerous.
Melinda can't move it out. De Bernardo.
Melinda had no idea there was a player coming on that backside, and Mutz just caught her completely off guard.
Getting late. This is a championship game of the Big Ten Women's Tournament. Penn State #1 seed. Obviously the favorite, but taking the play, it's been Janet Rayfield's Fighting Illini as we're at Lakeside Field next to the former national champion, Danielle Slayton, former Gopher, Kinder D. St. Aubin, Dan Kelly, our Big Ten crew. Glad you're tuning in. Soccer Sunday continues. More Nittany Lion action. The Wisconsin Badgers and John Trask trying to complete the Sunday. We go back to the men's side, but first the championship game, and De Bernardo has taken a couple knocks, and it continues here, but the kick will go the Illini's way.
A tough tackle there by Nair as she tries to kind of muscle De Bernardo off the ball, and Vanessa gets the call on that one. This could be a very dangerous dead ball. It is pretty straight on, which sometimes is difficult, but they have the wind at their back. It'll be interesting to see what they do here as we see three players over the ball: Mikens, De Bernardo, and Carosio.
It's gonna be Mikens, the right foot. It had some heat behind it, but it hit a Nittany Lion on the way in.
And they save it. It is gonna be a throw-in, not a corner kick. And Nair still trying to recover from that dead ball that she just took to the face or the arm. Maybe knocked the wind out of her. She's trying to get back in it.
As Mikens has a big foot, and then you factor in the wind, and that can cause some pain, as Christie Nair can tell. As here's Vanessa De Bernardo, Marissa Mikens, the right foot, and never threatens the target.
That's a dangerous right foot, though. She had a little bit of window there, as we saw another combination play between De Bernardo and Mikens.
And she can open up her own windows, as we saw Mikens getting that game-winning goal, and some important bodies back onto the field for Erica Walsh's side here in the final 5 minutes.
Rosenbluth coming back on, and Schramm getting a rare break on the sideline.
Was Schramm involved moments ago with that clash there with Gara. Melinda will get the throw in. Only chances offensively lately have been coming from the Fighting Illini.
Danielle, what do you think about that substitution? We've got Maya Hayes standing up top by herself now. Rosenbluth, a midfielder, and Schramm, a forward. They're taking her out. Are they taking a little bit of a defensive shape here, possibly?
Perhaps they're trying to assure themselves for this last 4 minutes, but I also think that bringing that forward back a little bit is just helping them try to dig the ball out and actually find the feet of Maya Hayes. They haven't really been able to connect to her too much without her having to come back into the midfield to get it.
And just as you say that, Danielle, as Maya comes back deep, gets it, but can't maintain possession.
And once again, the step by Paus. And then she forces it to go off of Maya Hayes. Again, you know, Illinois wins the throw-in. Paus just really holding her own back there. Because you saw Maya Hayes, she turned with the ball there and she picked up speed. She's going straight for goal.
When you get Maya Hayes running at you full steam, it is definitely something to be a little bit nervous about, but I think Stephanie Paus has been doing a great job of staying composed, moving her feet, and using her body when Maya Hayes does try to pass the ball right by her.
And she started this again, and it's De Bernardo drawing the foul.
And De Bernardo getting right back up again, so I'm looking at that ankle and it's looking pretty good, but watch Rosenbluth coming in from behind, and she made 2 kind of tackles at her from behind. Correct call by the referee, but when Vanessa gets going as well, they're finding that's the only way to stop her, but one of these dead balls could turn out to be pretty dangerous.
Mikens doesn't take it. They go back to her now. Marissa Mikens from a better area, but not much of a left foot. It was handled by the back line of Penn State, and they'll get the kick out.
I like the idea there, that short ball to the left side to Mikens, because the direct hit was kind of struggling getting it by that wall, and then Mikens just mishit it with that left foot. Just over 2 minutes left, so the clock is definitely winding down here on regulation.
It's the time when you start to hear from people like Marissa Mikens and Maya Hayes.
Denenberg almost got her head taken off on that one. Whitney Church, the freshman in the midfield, stepping up and playing really good defense in the middle.
Potentially 2 10-minute overtimes in front of us. With a golden goal, you score, you win. Loser goes home. They fight for a Big Ten tournament title. The Nittany Lions in white. Maya Hayes hasn't seen the ball much, couldn't absorb the pass. De Bernardo changing points of attack. Now making a run down the near side, just out of the range of Julie Ewing. Shots now 11-10 in favor of the orange and blue. Guerra intervenes. Nikki Reed out of range of De Bernardo. Is brushed ahead by Nairn. Nothing doing though on the counterattack from Penn State. Fighting Illini just keep on coming. De Bernardo getting loose. Vanessa De Bernardo trying to knife it in, and it's McNulty getting it. It's Marissa Mikens making some noise down the right flank.
That was the same thing we've seen her do so many times. She turns that corner and she just steps on the pedal and she gets going. I thought we were maybe going to see a goal right there. A last minute heroics by Marissa Mikens.
Here's Vanessa De Bernardo along the far touchline. Ninnis gets in her way. Approaching the final 10 seconds. And that one almost goes into Lake Michigan. It looks like we're going to be heading to overtime. So 90 minutes, not enough, as day turns into night of the championship game from Northwestern University. Still lots of fight from the Illini, trying to play the upset role and take down the Nittany Lions. Overtime is straight ahead on BTN. Thanks, Danielle, and someone who's been opening the window all week, Marissa Mikens.
As my dad always told me, it's the white rectangle, Kendra. Jana Rayfield says, shoot it on frame, get it on frame. I had a little bit of trouble with that.
You would answer back to your father today, it's very windy out here, very windy.
I didn't waste my breath answering back. I just kept playing.
It's been the first time I've ever watched Maya Hayes play 90 minutes without a smile. She was smiling momentarily when she got her nation-leading 27th goal, but other than that, they've kept one of the most dangerous players in the country quiet. See the overtime records.
And an interesting start there for Penn State. I mean, they get the kick and they have the ball, and right away they turn it over. Luckily, they get it back, but we'll see how they deal with the wind this half.
Jess Rosenbluth Slots the pass to Hayes, trying to go back to Rosenbluth, but out of her range. Hovington can't knock it down. Mikens will give chase. So they start to bang the rafters and seats here at Northwestern University a little bit. The energy and enthusiasm picking up from the crowd. De Bernardo can't get on the end of that pass. And not confident touches from the Nittany Lions the first couple tries. Carosio will punch it forward. Nice extension by Emma Thompson. Schaefer and Nair. Rosenbluth will turn it around. Changing points of attack. Never shy to move up, Jackie Melinda. Schaefer and Hayes venturing towards the box, but it's not going to get there.
Another good toe poke from Powell. She just sticks her, you know what she does? She keeps her eye on the ball. You got to watch the ball. You can't watch their feet.
Now she serves it down, De Bernardo after it. But the wind getting a hold of it and allowing McNulty to grab it.
And Hayes looks like she maybe got banged a little bit on that last clear by Carosio, just maybe in the hamstring or maybe almost even in the tailbone as Carosio kind of came flying in there to clear that ball out. She looked like she was maybe limping just a little bit after that knock.
She takes a lot of knocks. Maya Hayes. Mikens turns it into the middle. De Bernardo, the right foot! De Bernardo! Big Ten title! Coming home to Champaign. Vanessa wins it.
And look at the celebration and listen to the crowd as the Illinois faithful are here. Hopefully she doesn't get hurt on the bottom of that pile.
Time now for the Verizon connection of the game, the sophomore. No mistake by the outstretched paws of Erin McNulty.
But look at the combination play by Illinois. And look at Vanessa De Bernardo. She barely even put anything on it. As I've said before, she's always placing it. She knows exactly where she wants to go. McNulty with the diving save. She did get a hand on it, just not enough as it gets side netting. And Vanessa De Bernardo, the sophomore, with a pure silk performance of the game.
17th of the season. A valiant effort from Lexi Martin and company, but tonight it's about those fighting Illini.
Well, and Coach Rayfield said they just need to get something on frame. They're getting their chances, and they are the 2011 Big Ten champions. A great combination play up top by Illinois, and it's fitting that Vanessa De Bernardo got that game-winning goal.
They get their first Big Ten tournament title since 2002, and look at the celebration. Doesn't feel that knock now, does she, Kendra?
She doesn't feel that knock now. Her ankle's looking pretty good, and you know what this means? They're going to the NCAA tournament. We don't know for sure if they were going or not. They had a pretty good, solid record being second in the Big Ten, but you just never know with the selection. And look at head coach Janet Rayfield. So excited, and she's the Big Ten Coach of the Year as well, so everything paid off for them.
Oh. Surprised they still have the energy. On the other side, that's a group that's not used to this result, Penn State.
Well, lucky for them, they haven't had to feel a loss very often this season, but I think Danielle may have hit this right on the head. Not that you ever want to lose heading into the NCAAs, but this is a good test for them, and we'll see how they bounce back heading into the tournament. And they've got plenty of energy, the Fighting Illini. It doesn't look like they've spent some time in overtime. They are looking pretty good right now.
Two-year hiatus of the Big Ten tournament. Last time won by Penn State. A new champion in the Fighting Illini. Good. Yeah.
Ready, John?
So we move it down to a wild field.
Congratulations on the win. Amazing goal. How does it feel to be a Big Ten Conference Tournament champion?
It feels great. All the hard work this season has paid off, and it just feels really good.
What were you thinking on that goal?
I was just thinking to place it, and the win, we were with the win, so I just really had to get it on frame.
Congratulations. Enjoy your night.
Keep safe down there, Danielle. It's getting wild on the pitch. Or the field, as they call it in Champaign, Illinois. And they take care of the field this afternoon. It's going to be interesting to see how Erica Walsh's side recovers. It's Penn State's first loss since late September. They celebrate the Fighting Illini, your 2011 Big Ten Tournament champions. Big thanks to our producer, John Walsh, our director, Doug Brown, executive producer, Tim Sutton, my partner, Kendra D. St. Aubin, Danielle Slayton, our entire gifted BTN crew. I'm Dan Kelly saying thanks for checking out a wild weekend of soccer from Northwestern University. A new champion's coming out of Champaign, Illinois. The soccer will continue right here on the Big Ten Network. Coming up next, it's Wisconsin, as we switch from the women to the men. And the celebration is on for the Fighting Illini. Time to take the trophy and celebrate and enjoy this one for a while.